Hey, good morning, folks. We're going to work on some more Spelljammer artwork today. Let me check my signal here real quick. I'll get through my intro spiel and then we'll get to work for about 100 minutes. So hold on here real quick. Checking my signal, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Signal, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, sounds like it's coming through A-OK. All right, so let's see. Let's do that. And then here, we'll do that. And okay, so if you're catching us here in the future after the stream is over, hi future us. You can jump forward in the stream for about maybe like 2 minutes to get past my intro spiel. It probably takes less time than that, but I just wanted to be safer than sorry. So for anyone else that's here in the present moment with us live, hey, my name's Phil Kearney. I create role-playing game supplements. I illustrate them. I publish them online. I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition here for the past 5-ish years. There are a slew of works that I have created that are linked in the description down below, and they all have extensive free previews. So if you're here for artwork and pixel pushing, you can check out a lot of the work that I've created in the past by you can click on the full preview button underneath the book covers, or if you're on a mobile device, there's an eye icon on the right hand side of the screen. Either way, they'll pop open a PDF. You can check out the work that I've done. There's probably about 150 different illustrations among just in those works that are linked down below. So if you think that stuff is cool, thanks. If you're a D&D enthusiast, whether you're a DM or a player, the stuff that I build are things that I needed for my own campaigns or inspired me to run a campaign. I typically run a 1 to 20 level campaign in about 200 to 250-ish hours. So the stuff that I play is meant to it is meant to be used at all levels of the game. And so this Spelljammer project is no exception. So once, let's see here. I've just posted that I'm live on Twitter, so you can catch me on Twitter, X at Phil Kearney, if you're still using that platform. Trying to get this to 500 subscribers as my first milestone. So like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, get notifications when I'm live in the future. I'm here 6 days a week. And so let's see, I talk about creating role-playing game supplements, illustrating them, and publishing them online. And I use the tools that I build my own campaigns. So once we know that the tools work through playtesting, we send it off to an editor. The editor will then chew up the words and send them back to us so they sound smart. We'll then break up all the ideas of the system or whatever it is, or the class or whatever it is that we're building. We break it up, and so it's digestible ideas on each page. And once we have the pages all broken up, we can zoom into each individual page here, extract it as a PDF for us to then drop here into Photoshop that we then illustrate. And once we finish illustrating, we upload it back into the Word document that we seal into a PDF, publish it on DMsGuild, and then make a free preview link available for folks to check out what we got. Hey, Zona, how you doing? Hey, Hernetica, it's good to see you guys. So that's the process that we're going through right now, and this is the world that we're in. We're currently building this ring world that we've been discussing for the past few episodes. I'm pretty happy with how the perspective is curving out. These are very simple boxes, but we're going to turn them this episode into more detailed buildings. So we can see the ring world curls around here. It goes around the planet off screen. But if we zoom in here, we can see coming around here, small buildings, and then we've got scaling perspective here, continuing to scale up and scale up and scale up until we hit, this is about 50 by 70, 75 some odd feet here is this building, which is a little bit shorter, but definitely wider than the Damselfly ship that we have sketched in here right now. So this is a sense of perspective that we have here. I'm going to need to fix the perspective over in this far corner because I'm a glutton for punishment. But I'm going to take this right now. What we're going to do today is wind our way back. So let's see, where are we at here? There we go. So I'm just going to push this back. We're going to build these platforms out just to get the coloration set. And then we're going to, I want to leave that in place. here. To like that to there. So we're going to put in the coloration on these platforms, and then we will be able to buff these out and then push our way back forward with building details like windows, doors, front porches, texture. It'll be very minimal in the background because less detail equals further away. And that will help set the pace between what's back here with just little dots and lights to where we have the foreground here, which is a very well-detailed lodge. So once we push forward in the details of all the structures that we've been building, I'll be able to finish out the detail work for this. And then we'll be able to push our way back down the page on this other side of the screen. And once I have the details there finished, I have a little plot of land here that's dug out of these trees that I also want to drop a building into. Then we'll finish up the dragon, the damselfly ship details, and then it's starting to feel. I like the balance of the piece because we got the thirds that we were talking about. So here's a hot spot, and here's a hot spot, and this is definitely a point of interest that's going on here. Over here, our hot spot is, again, if you aren't familiar with the rules of thirds, educate yourself. Here and here, more like here and here. That's roughly like that and that. This is roughly. Come on, Kearney, where are you at? Roughly thirds, right? So 1, 2, 3. And then breaking up the shape of this roughly like here. That's roughly, if this text wasn't here, this half page would frame roughly like that. So this is a hot point. Over here, this is a hot point. Here's your hot point. But since the picture is skewed with this little leg up here, if we were to take this at its face value, more like this, we'd be like maybe a third is here and then like here maybe. Scoot that up a tick. A little off center. There. There. Okay, so here's our hot spot, here's a hot spot, here's a hot spot, and here's a hot spot. So these are your 4 major points of interest inside of this composition, assuming that this capped off here. So this little leg we're going to ignore. But we want to make sure that there's interesting things happening here, 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 and or here. Not necessarily all 4 of them. Preferably 2. A silhouette or like a portrait type piece would have 1 hot point. An action scene should have roughly 2. That would be like here and here or here and here. So the amount of detail we have coming in here is of interest. There's changing scale, changing environments, changing colors. So this is a decent spot as a point of interest. This, not so much. So I'm probably gonna have to dot in some cool star effects and blah blah up here just to make sure that it keeps pulling the eye in that direction. But the composition overall, I think, is leaning very heavy over here. So I need to put in something to help counterweight over here. I'm still kind of thinking about that. So I'm just looking at the balance of the composition, the page overall. I don't think it weighs too heavy because of this height. It stretches out the focus here a little bit, but it'd be nice if I could have something interesting over in this space, maybe like some ships or like a planet of some sort. Some sort of orbity something I think needs to happen over here. So we'll figure that out, but we're still on task here. Also, kind of low-key thinking I want to work on this purple rock a bit here. Like, is that something I could potentially layer over here as exposed earth and then have like a boardwalk that's rimming here so that I can bring out some of these highlights? So it doesn't seem sensible that the whole thing would be made of wood unless it's, you know, hyperextending itself off of the, well, here it actually kind of is extending itself as a like an overhang deck over the water below. It's a decent sized structure. So I'm thinking maybe let's fuck around like this. Let's fuck around and find out. go like this and like this, probably to successfully build that out. Not really sure. Right now I'm just kind of, you know, playing some jazz, fucking around. We're just having fun with architecture and placement and where things are at. What do you guys got going on? I'm going to be doing this for the next God knows how long in my life. Let's erase all that because I'm starting to chew up my building. All right, I'm going to step back from that idea for a moment. I'm just going to finish coloring in this platform. All these platforms are the right color here. And then if we want to mix the media and integrate some stonework into it, that's cool. This this here is very much not so much going to have stone. Yeah, like we've discussed in the past here, if for folks that aren't indoctrinated yet, the gravity physics for Spelljammer is it's either spherical gravity like a planet, or it's a two-dimensional plane that bisects the length, the longest length of whatever object it is. And in Spelljammer ships, it would be across this center point here, just along the deck in the middle of the ship. And that planar gravity effect is relevant to any object that is smaller than 10 miles in diameter. So a ring world like this, the planet is significantly larger than 10 miles, so it's going to have normal planetary spherical gravity that you would expect. But this ring world that's going around it, it's comprised and basically it's clustered together as a slew of rocks. And if any of those rocks, as long as all of those rocks are 10 miles or smaller in diameter, it's going to have that planar gravity effect. And that plane over time, all these rocks that are just out of reach of falling to the planet, because it's outside, see, it's outside of the space that the planet occupies, so the planet's spherical gravity doesn't influence anything outside of it. So this ring can successfully orbit around. Like this would have been just a giant, like a pancake of small debris instead of a single moon. But because all the smaller objects that are in the space of the gravity already fell away and got pulled to the planet, what's left is this ring that's left over. So, and none of the, if the rocks in the ring were 10 miles or larger, then they'd have their own spherical gravity as a moon, and they'd be basically sweeping a hole through like a dust rag, would be knocking stuff out of the way and clearing up the space. But since everything is too small to have its own spherical gravity, in time it all just kind of aligns to the same plane, and then grass and moss and stuff starts growing on it. And it fuses over time into these larger and larger lumps, but they're still separate little objects that are being held together by roots and dirt and clump, enough to the point where it can hold, like a bowl, water inside of its basins. And even to a certain extent, it can be engineered and manufactured that you have a sealing off, like dams, sealing off the edges along the edge of the system, along the edge of the ring here, so that the water doesn't just spill out and then drift off and then fall to the planet below. But it will drift out of the plane in this direction, away from the planet, and then it hits the edge of the envelope of the ring world, and then it evaporates, curls around. It's a large enough structure in hundreds or thousands of miles going around this planet, that there's enough area that it'll coalesce into a weather system and then dump water back down, so it becomes a recycling area that then encourages more life to grow, which then further fuses all the rocks together. In time, this could probably get enough mass to be a spherical world, but it's so thin it would tear itself apart in the process of, like, this chunk here breaking away from this chunk way back here to another chunk over here. Like ultimately these 8 different chunks would fuse themselves into small moons and probably pull themselves and crash into the planet over time. So I'm wondering if the inhabitants on this planet aren't actively hemming away at the plant growth that's on these rocks to make sure that they don't like overfuse in time to cause the whole thing to collapse. Which seems like a natural evolution of it. It just ends up getting overgrown, too heavy, and then destroys itself. So that's how that works anyway. But you know, there's not many rules in the game about how these mechanics are supposed to work. Like there's no information about that in 5th edition of Spelljammer's Adventures in Space. That's just like, it's a minute, many people would say irrelevant detail. But again, this whole book is full of little things like that, which allows a DM to have a base frame of physics to use wild space as an actual location that you can do stuff in. So if you understand the underlying physics of how things can operate and how they can consistently feed into each other, you can create a narrative on a fantasy world. You have to have those physics in place for where people would operate, and like how would people respond to this type of stuff? Like what's examples of what this stuff can be? That's what we're facilitating with this book for exploration, world building, combat, and there's of course as I've talked about before, I'm looking forward to adding on to this as an extension the mecha combat, because the fighter craft that the fighter craft mechanics that we've developed for this document already work perfectly well as mecha, like Gundam or Evangelion or yada yada. Works perfectly well with that narrative. So I'm excited about getting first things first, right? Get this thing done, and once this thing is published, I can low casual start building out Warforged and other type of mecha. Like I talked about before, like fighting giant, like make Big B's. Big B presents the giants as actual giants. You know, like the book cover has like a 250-foot giant, but there's no rules for a 250-foot giant. But we have rules in this book for 250-foot creatures. So you just give them a humanoid shape, and basically all the stat block stuff that like a storm giant has, but just use the 250-foot scale kaiju mechanics that we have inside this book for giant-sized creatures, and you're pretty much good to go. So super easy giants. Now all you need is some cool Escaflowne armor to run up and punch them in the dick, and you've got an adventure. So it'd be fun to it would be fun after we finish this to revisit Storm King's Thunder from the perspective of wearing giant killer armor, and you get deployed from the Flying Citadel to not giant killing, dragon killer armor, so that you get deployed off of the word I am looking for is Flying Castle, the Flying Castle, right? So you would deploy off the Flying Castle, kind of like paratroopers just getting dropped in to whatever city it is that's being harassed by dragons. Jump into your dragon armor, deploy from the Flying Citadel, punch the dragon in the dick, and then move on to the next location. But of course, in time, that tactic is going to piss off a lot of dragons, so they're going to come for you eventually. And so that would change the flavor of Storm King's Thunder quite a bit, which I think I might be potentially interested in running around with it as a lark in the future. But that's like, not to brag or anything, but that's the kind of thinking that the tables that I run That's the kind of stuff that they think about doing. It's like, these dragons are really big and we're pretty low level. What can we do to up our game? How about some kaiju? How about some Pacific Rim actions? Like, cool, we can do that. And here we are. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to eventually flesh out. I'll get there in time. It's just, you know, which is my top priority at the moment. I'm gonna box this and merge those. There, like that. Once Martial Powers comes out, we can start layering in ship maneuvers and ship exploits, like taking all the stuff that we have in the Martial Powers book and convert them into pilot options. So if you've got a mana supply as a pilot, you can pick up these different strikes, maneuvers, techniques to use with your ship, so that your mecha piloting could be, you know, has more options. Since spellcasting is kind of broken as you scale it up, if you just allow like infinite scaling damage, that just doesn't work, because otherwise everyone would destroy Waterdeep. But by limiting the scale of damage that you can do with these ships, and instead curving the mana into buff effects and bonuses to the pilots and the crew that are firing weapons, you can still allow that spend of spell slots or spell power to affect the bottom line of combat for your ships without having a floating platform that can destroy the world from orbit. And if the DM wants to outscale stuff, like do mega siege weapons that are like 50 feet or larger per weapon in scale, then yeah, you can do, instead of times 10 siege damage, you can scale up to times 100 world cracking damage or whatever, but it keeps scaling up. So once you get into the into single weapons, being like a ballista, for instance, is a large size weapon. It does d4 times 10 damage. If you wanted to scale that up into like a Death Star ballista that's going to be 100 feet by 100 feet area, then yeah, it can do d4 times 100 damage when it hits, because each bolt is going to be roughly 10 feet thick and like 60 feet long. So it'll, well, 10 feet thick, so probably like maybe 5 feet thick, 4 feet, 3, 4, 5 feet thick, and then be and then be 50 feet long. Yeah, 5 by 50. That feels decent for a ballista bolt. I could see that happening, but that dealing hundreds of damage instead of tens of damage, that would make sense. But you would also have to have a massive means of transporting that. So even a 250 foot giant could not feasibly wield a weapon. I'll take that back. You could get a claymore going. It could be like a two-handed massive oversized weapon. Could be 300 feet long for a 250 foot giant. A 300 foot scale weapon that could be D4. A 300 feet, that would be at the 50 foot scale. That'd be a 6x6 grid that you'd be filling, and it's every 1, 2 is a D4, 3, 4 is a D6, 5, 6 is a D8, and it goes all the way out to 10. Would be a D12, so you'd be D4, D6. It'd be a D8, so a 250 foot sized giant that was wielding a 300 foot claymore would do D8 times 100 damage when it laid in a strike into whatever it's laying strikes into. But it's a 300 foot giant hitting you with a sword. I think that's okay. I'm okay with that scaling damage. But again, the DM is very much controlling that level of power. They're not just giving that to characters to fuck around with. So, no, that's not right. 250 feet, a 250 foot hammerhead ship with a ram attack. Oh, that's right. It's 2d8 times 10 damage. So it'd be, yeah, anywhere up to 160 damage that would hit with the sword. It would have to be 2,500 feet with a sword that's 3,000 feet, damn near half mile, for you to be able to use as a melee attack to be able to do 16 points of damage per round. So it doesn't break scale too badly. It's not bad. Sorry, I had my ratios off there for a second. But the point is that we can do ridiculous scale stuff. And if you have ships that are capable of operating at that scale, then you're effectively winding everything back down to essentially like fighting ogres, you know? If you've got 400 hit points and the thing you're attacking has 1,600 hit points, not much different from having 50 hit points and your target having 160. So like that's a good dragon fight. Which is what we're talking about, good dragon fights. Hey, cheers. Yeah, I would say the one big difference that we're offering with this supplement that I haven't really seen with anywhere else is that we're actually dealing with scale. Trying to have scale beyond 5 feet actually be integrated into how you design and run games. And to be able to provide the tools. Like there's more than one Kickstarter out there for like kaiju fighting, right? Where it's typically it's going to be like find the weak spot or whatever, but they're not dealing with the base mechanics of just having grand scale and having a means of actually have creatures and stuff function at that level, which is surprising. But I guess, you know, that makes me the guy. I'm the one that gets to do it, and that's exciting to me. I was really surprised that color mana hadn't already been a thing, so it's that's another example of having an opportunity to explore unusual mechanics for a narrative theme that ended up being just, I love it. It's color mana is amazing. MTG, the color mana system is just a really powerful narrative tool. If you haven't seen it, there's a channel called Dice Try. I'm a Patreon sponsor for Chris. So, I mean, hey, grain of salt to what I have to say. But he creates videos on color philosophy and how that the idea of color as a like an alignment system or a life philosophy system, and how it manifests in different forms of media, especially obviously Magic the Gathering, but D&D and different movie characters. He invests, his whole channel is devoted to interpreting how color mana is expressed in different forms of media, and how to interpret color combinations for your own character or societal development as a psychological tool. And very satisfying. It's really neat to have such a deep narrative be complementary to the mechanics of the Magic system that we developed. So, but hey, that's just me plugging Color Magic again. It's in the link down below. It's all 100% free preview. If you think that stuff is cool, consider buying my stuff to support more shenanigans in the future, because there will be more shenanigans in the future, I assure you. All right, so I'm pretty happy with these buildings as they're sitting. We can put some roofs on, like some steeped roofs on the ones that are going to get them. Gonna get it, and we can start making some something a little bit more interesting out of these shoe boxes. Excuse me for a second. I have a nose goblin that demands some attention. We're on day 9 of me being sick. Fuck all. It's almost done. At this time last week, I slept about 14 hours that day. Let's see. Let's start at the back and work our way forward. So we're going to start with a roof sort of thing going on like this. Right there. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Smooth jazz. Ah, ah, ah. K-Y-O-T. The coyote. Do-do-do-do-do-do. It's a basic bitches sort of house. Ba-ba-ba-doo. Neat little railing here to keep people from falling to their death. Good job, people. Don't fall to your death. That's your major job, is don't die. It's like your biggest responsibility in this life. Sakura, don't die! Not Kagero, sorry. Her name was Kagero. Botched that Ninja Scroll reference. Coming at you with Ninja Scroll quotes today, folks. It's got some not safe for work moments, but it's a really well built anime. And everything that happens in that movie happens for a very specific reason. It's an incredibly well written story. The action is amazing. Like, if you haven't seen Ninja Scroll, just do yourself the favor and get into that shit, because it's a fucking cool movie. The TV show was garbage. The second movie was garbage. The first one was a masterpiece. Just cannot recommend enough. See, just a little bit of detail. It doesn't take a lot, but that's all you really need. I mean, considering the scale that we're working at, you can still zoom in here in the PDF to like this. And that is still going to be sufficient detail for this just to be satisfying. So, cheers to that. And we get to build some stilts down here like yonder. I'm going to thicken these guys up enough to hit the water line down here. Do that. Scaffolding like that. And then here's something cheeky. Let's put another platform down here. fun. There. Cool. Let's finish up this building here. This. Good old A-frame. Such a simple structure. Reliable. Good, good architecture. Simple to build. Ye old A-frame. Salute, Mother Hubbard. Salad. Build that out like that. Build that in there. Hey, oh, timer, I hear you. Good. Here, and how do I want to build this out? Let's go with just little simple things. Blip, blip, blip. Shade effects there. Run that across the top. Flesh out that back a little bit. There. Yep, very simple. That's as much detail as I really need back there right now. Build another one here. And I mean, it goes back for, it's hundreds of miles of space that we're working with. This is just the riverfront that we have going on here. It's just, you know, a stilted community. The rocks just kind of drop off the edge, right? Like if we're going to have, like, this is roughly how these rocks work, and you have this water line that goes across here. So it's not being depicted here, but you've got all these buildings that have these stilt structures here, and then you got the buildings that are on them, and there's trees that are growing off of these rocks here that are framing this this water line here. But this water line is only so thick, and on the other side there's other structures with other buildings that are hanging out down here with their own trees. So like this is that planar gravity we were talking about. It gets mirrored. So if you were to jump off, you could dive through the water, and then your gravity would flip, and then you could climb out and you could come over here. But that water is a separating factor. So you got these rocks that go like this, and then like here on the edge, like over here, you're at the very edge of the world that you've got off here, and then it's just like that's open space. But in here, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rocks that are at various points of fusing together, all of which are at most 10 miles in size. But if they're smaller, that's still a big fucking rock that you can have stretching like a rock like this You can have a rock like this that's like 5 miles long this way, like a mile this way, and then be like maybe 300 feet, 500 feet thick this way. So it's like a piece of shale that's just kind of stacked out with a whole bunch of other pieces of shale that have water poured in between them, and then slowly nature fuses all of this stuff together so that the water line naturally grows moss and roots and plants and stuff that will just naturally seal the gap between these two rings. And as everything coalesces its gravity plane together and it all just sort of churns together, it stays in relatively fixed position, so you can build up on top of that stuff. That's the idea here anyway. So like you could easily like take a, like if you had like a sealed container that could be waterproof, and you were able to punch it down with enough momentum to get through the water to cross through to the other side, it'd be able to bob out and be picked up on the other side as it kind of bounces into existence from within the water. It's like, oh, there's a package. So you could run like if you had if you were running a crime operation in this environment, you could have transition points that throw stolen goods through the water to the other side to then run away, so that you're dealing with multiple points jumping up and down on either side of the gravity plane. So you'd be able to, you'd have one map on the top, and then you'd have another map on the bottom of different city environments. So whatever we have built here can easily be doubled on the reverse side of the plane. It's just we're not depicting that reverse side here, but it is off here in the distance down there. And it's the angle of perspective that we're using here that's preventing us from being able to see any of those lower details, because we're not looking straight on. We've got an overhead look, like a little bit of an overhead look like this, which prevents you from seeing almost anything underneath there. But I could probably come along here and like dot in some tree line once we get done with all the other details. So that's some of the stuff that I think about while we're working on this. It's a cool environment. I think it's fun anyway. Let's see. I think I want to actually just fuse these two together like that. That's a thick door. Watched Charlie Wilson's War again recently. That's a great movie. Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, Philip Seymour whatever his name was. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Thank you. I think that's what his name was. Great film about the CIA's covert war in the Middle East in the 80s. And how it destabilized the region. Very poignant political piece. You got these planks that lead to different levels. Excuse me. Choking on chicken bone. do that right. Nice. All right, let's do let's think about how we're gonna do this. We're going to let's do like this. We'll do like that. Let's do add this in here. Should do well. Let's grab across like that. Not bad. I'm really happy with this. Then let's we can fancy up the architecture a little bit here. Creating a little bridge between each of these rooftops. That's fun. Neat little thoroughfare that leads to one area to another. I like that. That's really neat. Let's flesh that out into a little triangle here. I'm going to push this back in. Let's do like let me just say, this shit is fun. I love doing little architecture things like this. It is such a satisfying little experience to create these little things. That's a fucking great. Like, you don't have to have much more detail than that. It's just very simple, very, very simple. Because it's low detail because of the distance involved, but you can infer a lot without much effort at all. Very nice. I'm going to have to, once we finish this, we'll need to use a highlight to help pull this stuff out of frame so it's not so dark. But I'm very happy with this. Super fun. Let's just keep developing. We're just going to keep riffing on stuff and making things and blah, blah, blah. That's what we do. Nice. It's fun little pieces. Flesh out right there. No complaint. Merge down. Merge down. Coffee break from each end. Let's see, what can we... How about, let's see, how can we play with light a little bit? See if this works. I don't know if it's going to or not. Just kind of had the inspiration to dot in some patches of bright light here. We'll see if it pans out. Not horrible. Not great, but not horrible. What if I were to drop the opacity on that a bit? Yeah, that helps make things pop out a bit. Let's stick with that. Work this stuff into the canvas. I need to put some stilts on this guy. Yo. This looks so cool. Such fun architecture. This would be a hell of a map, but it'd be fun as fuck to play around in. Nope, not there, right there. That's where I want you. There to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These. How else do we want to be? There. Mayhaps that's the wrong way to be. Gotta be this way. We're dealing with single pixels here, so I don't have a lot of precision control at this scale. As far as like being able to highlight things. Let me drop it down to like 20%. Not 20% off there, scroll it down. That feels pretty good. Probably should be a little bit more. Let's go to 30. 30 feels okay. Not bad. I think I'm pretty good with that. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's keep on keeping on. Highlights, base, structure. Go, 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 go. Maybe we want to do something like this. In. Well, that's fun. That's cool building. Steeple. Good old A-frame. Roof party on whatever this is. Details like that. Big open pavilion area. That one. Here as well. A world without awnings barely scares thinking about. Barely. What's the word? Barely worth thinking about. Thank you. Yeah, like that. That's good. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, that should work. Here. There, that's looking pretty good. Rando awning. Yeah, it looks cool. Another decent little set. We'll go back up here to our highlights again. It'd probably be more crowded than this. For now, I'm content enough with this as is. We can go back and we can layer in some stick people. Nice. Oh yeah, and then we get to do the railing or the stilts. Those aren't far enough apart. There we go. Too close. There we go. Too close. No, wait. That single pixel. Pain in ass. Wait. A little wider. There we go. Hey, what's up? What's up, Zona? Right on, Zona. Thanks for hanging on anyway, guy. Really appreciate you. We'll be doing this for a while, of course. I'll see you on the other side, my guy. Uh-oh. And ope. There we go. Picking that one up. Nope, not quite. Yeah, that feels better like that. Maybe, maybe over a tick. Maybe another tick. Give me some ticks. Tick, tick. There we go. Yeah, okay, that works. Good. Merge some Buddha. Derp, derp, derp. Merge. Steal some sunshine. Ugh, yeah, I hear you. Where are we at? 7-4. Okay, so this is our last 20-minute burst for today. I'm actually really happy with this. This is all coming along very, very nicely. Checks out. Checks out. Cool. Looking good there. Let's see. Next is the next platform. Let's keep moving across. The platform's kind of at a weird angle, though. I need to fix that. There. That should be fine. Merge down. Yeah, anyone that wants to see last episode, you can tune in and watch me get humbled for a while I was trying to figure out the perspective on this stuff. But obviously, I've got it figured out now, so I'm really happy. But the humility of figuring this stuff out is perspective is a humbler. It'll keep you honest, man. Lead this fence off the platform onto the rock. Like that. Fun. Super fun. Now we need some stilts. Yeah, I'm not really talking about a lot today. This is not as nearly an organic process as a lot of my sketching, like character or vehicle or equipment art. It's a lot of perspective angles that I'm having to contend with that keep me from being able to just kind of free float, free state as I like to do. A little more intense. My typical work. Do that like this. But hopefully people enjoy seeing the architecture take shape. That's worthwhile for folks to out. The talkie isn't very good today. God damn, I'm loving this though. Don't need that. Let's just leave that be. Okay, cool. Now we're working on. Whew, man, these things are. This creative process is honestly pretty exhausting. There. Yeah, let's leave that. Let's leave that open roof. I like that. Having to think about things is tiring. Wow, that's on point. Holy crap. We done good. About like that. God damn. Good job, Kearney. That. Like that. Yeah, not bad. Let's take this. To how do we want to do this? We want to put an awning over that. There we go. Here. Boop, boop. There. All the way up to the edge of the building. Perfect. Like that. Clear that stuff out. Bring that in. Come on, buddy. Thank you. That in. Tee off there. There we go. Fill in a bit of building. Let's do that. There we go. Here and then I want to grab that color there. There. Like that. There we go. Three, 1, 2, 3. Gap here. Gap. 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 There you go. There we go. I'm going to run out of time here in a few minutes, I can tell. Here, pop, 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 there. Good progress, though. I'm going to work on this some more, probably off camera today. So when we come back tomorrow, this is going to be progressed further. This one's taking a while. It's taking, of course, it's taking longer than I want it to. It's my piece. Everything I want to do takes longer than I want. Everything takes longer than I want. But you rush a miracle, you get a rotten miracle, okay? Come on, you got this. You can do this. Too close. Better. There we go. Massive beams, like a whole tree. Yep. All right, that's it for today. Looking decent, though. Looking decent. All right, so I'm going to have to cut it here. I'm going to finish off these details tonight. Off camera, I'll fill this in off camera as well. So when we come back tomorrow, I might have all this and this structure done here. And this is all pretty damn good back here. So I'm just getting to this level of detail here, obviously. And then I can fill in the rest of the front end detail here just to get these less two-dimensional and a little bit more detailed. So if everything goes according to plan, this will be done, this will be done, and this will be done. We'll still have this front tree and this foliage here to work on, the damselfly to work on, probably here, and then sticks, adding variety to this foliage that we have here, and then stars, and then we'll be done. So Christ willing, we're going to have this thing done by Friday, and then so when we come back on Monday next week, I said this last week that I'd like to be working on a different piece now, but that didn't happen. So we're just gonna keep doing what we do and let it work itself out. But I'm really pleased with the piece. I think I want to bring down the light on the ship a little bit. I mean, that's transparent, but just the level of the value. I wanted to bring the value down so it's not just punching through the piece, so that the rest of it has, like, if this is too bright, then then it deflates it takes away the impact of the brightness of the planet and the star. So I can like put this like around here at that level of brightness. So I'll just have to drop the brightness, like drop a backlit or a back shade underneath it to help ground it to a lower level of intensity. I'm kind of using half words right now. I'm thinking out loud. Anyway, that's it for the day, guys. It's 8 o'clock here in Seattle, so I got to bounce. I shan't be back on today. I'll be back tomorrow morning, and I'll be back on tomorrow night as well. So, yeah, we make artwork here. Here we go. This is the process. This is the intensity, the time, the effort, the emotion, the attention, and the tedium required to make art by hand. So if this is something that you endeavor to do, God bless you for it. It's a lifelong addiction. But very, very, very satisfied with how this is coming along. The lighting's looking really, really good. God damn. All right, I'm out of here, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Oh, Dungeons and Chronics. I'm just checking out, my guy. Love to see you tomorrow. Laters.